The Galactic Council convened behind closed force fields. 37 species assembled in rotating orbit around the artificial citadel of Palladier. The agenda was brief, the sentiment unanimous. Earth had become problematic, not because of open hostility or interstellar conquest, but because they wouldn't fold. Every attempt to integrate, manipulate, or isolate had failed. Humanity simply continued. They resisted through laughter, through defiance, through indifference. Reports filtered in daily. Corporations denied trade treaties. Earth's governments dismantled diplomatic embassies. Humans began building things beyond their known means. Gravitic shielding, anti-void sensors, particle field weapons developed in secrecy outside council-sanctioned tech sharing. The final spark came when human vessels bypassed a Scythery blockade to deliver supplies to a rebel world. Not military aid, not warships, just food, medicine, and engineering drones. The Empire saw it as a provocation. High Strategos Archivan addressed the Council in clipped tones. He called humanity an infection, a species addicted to defiance. If left unchecked, others would emulate them. Rebellion would spread. He proposed a clean end. An antimatter core device, dropped silently, detonated before atmospheric breach. The vote passed without debate. Earth would burn. The weapon, codenamed Judgement Seed, was transferred aboard the stealth dreadnought Vorkal. No fanfare, no announcement. The operation was classified, even among council members. Vorkal's pilot, Commander Velktor, considered the mission beneath him. An unarmed, unaligned planet? It would be quick, efficient, a sterile execution. Vorkal reached Sol without resistance. Earth's planetary defenses didn't fire. The cloaking held. The launch systems confirmed readiness. The seed was primed. Detonation sequence set. Commander Tor gave the final clearance and watched the weapon begin its descent toward the blue-green sphere. 16 seconds after release, something changed. The targeting signal vanished. All systems on Vorkal went dead. Redundant relays failed to reroute. Guidance controls locked. Crew members tried to communicate. No external transmission succeeded. Internally, panic spread. Not because they were under attack, no weapons fired, but because nothing was happening. The ship floated above Earth, dead and adrift. Tor ordered the fail-safes purged. The bomb didn't respond. It simply vanished. The orbital scans couldn't find it. Neither could long-range sensor buoys. No detonation. No explosion. No impact tremor on Earth's crust. It was as if the Judgement Seed had never existed. The last transmission from a Vorkal was a 3-second audio clip. No screams. No technical data. Just a woman's voice, speaking in Terran Standard. "You left us behind." The ship went silent. 3 hours later, the Empire's listening post at Kareen Spire received a package. Unmarked, coded in obsolete human encryption. Inside was a single image, a shadowed figure dragging what appeared to be the Judgement Seed across a metal floor, surrounded by flames. No metadata, no location, just coordinates that led to deep space. The Council reconvened. Panic simmered beneath protocol. No one knew what had happened. The seed hadn't detonated. Earth still broadcast open frequencies. Their cities still lit the dark. And the bomb, the most advanced doomsday device in the quadrant, had been stolen. The Cernari archivists scoured Earth's data libraries for clues. They found something curious. An ancient Terran folklore surrounding a figure who dwelled in forests, devoured invaders, and traveled in a hut that moved on chicken legs. Baba Yaga, a myth, a horror tale whispered to children. The Empire's most powerful weapon had been taken, not destroyed, not disabled, taken, and returned. 6 solar days passed. Then a freighter near the Drek line reported a drifting vessel, unmarked, cold, but inside it, floating among the wreckage, was a Judgement Seed still active. No pilot, no crew, no explanation. The seed's casing was etched with human characters. Translated, it read, "Try again. I dare you." 3 more systems spotted similar appearances. Each time, the seed was found in new locations, far from Earth, without any propulsion records or carrier signatures. One station reported that it materialized inside their sealed vault without any structural breach. Surveillance footage showed nothing until a black-cloaked figure walked to the main corridor, dragging the seed with one hand. The footage ended with the figure staring into the camera. The image pixelated, then stabilized into a human face. Wrinkled, pale, eyes like glass. The same voice played again. "I remember everything." The council demanded answers. None came. The Galactic Navy dispatched investigation teams. They found abandoned outposts where every system had been overwritten with Terran folk music. At one site, they found a message scratched into a plasma forge wall. "She's walking now." Within the Empire, whispers spread. Soldiers muttered her name. Scientists refused seed deployment orders. Some captains locked their ships in place, citing folklore-level contagion risk. High Strategos Archivan called it psychological warfare, a coordinated human misinformation campaign. But no one could explain how the seed had reappeared inside a Council-line battleship hangar, bypassing 16 security layers. Theories erupted. A rogue AI, a cloaked human superweapon, a deathworld myth turned tangible. A deep space salvage crew recovered a wrecked Terran science vessel. Its black box contained fragments of voice logs. One stood out. "We told them stories for centuries. They should have listened. She never forgets, never forgives." When a scouting team tried to investigate Sol again, they found nothing. No ships, no transmissions. Just a blank region of space where Earth had been. The planet hadn't moved. It had hidden itself. But then, a simple signal reemerged. Text only, sent to every listening post across Council space. It read, "One bomb, one insult, one reminder." The Judgement Seed wasn't meant to destroy. Not anymore. It had become a message, a symbol, a carrier of fear. Inside Council archives, someone found a passage in old Terran literature. It spoke of Baba Yaga riding to the dark forest, collecting bones of those who came uninvited. It ended with a phrase now etched into galactic dread: "She returns what doesn't belong." The Empire had sent a weapon to Earth. Earth sent it back with a ghost, and she was still moving. A week after the bomb's reappearance, the 7th Fleet's command station at Drelva's ceased all communications. No explosions, no alarms, just static. When a response crew arrived 48 hours later, they found the station powered down, emergency lighting active, and the entire crew unconscious but alive. No one could recall what happened, only that a low humming filled the air moments before everything went dark. In the command chamber, at the center of the hollow table, sat the Judgement Seed, clean, untouched, reassembled, inoperable. It was taken back to the fleet's capital ship for study. Within 12 minutes, the ship's AI failed. 3 engineers vanished. No sign of entry. The seed had changed. It emitted no radiation, no antimatter trace, yet anyone within 10 meters would experience hallucinations, voices speaking Terran dialects, childhood memories they never lived. The vessel's captain detonated the outer hull and jettisoned the device. A salvage unit later retrieved it from a rogue asteroid cluster near Alvincore. It was intact. Galactic military scientists tried to disassemble the bomb. They failed. Tools fractured. Hands burned without heat. One technician screamed until her vocal cords burst. When asked what she saw, she only replied, "She's in the wires." The weapon wasn't a weapon anymore. It was a vector, a carrier, a ritual. Baba Yaga moved across the stars without a fleet, without support. Every planetary system she touched fell into paralysis. Forward bases went silent. Transports veered off course to avoid dead zones. Tactical units were dispatched. None returned. She didn't destroy. She dismantled. At Outpost Ekron V, 27 personnel were found alive but altered. All had missing memories. They repeated phrases from old Earth nursery rhymes. One wrote a message on every surface they could find, even their own skin. "She brings back what is yours." The Empire initiated Protocol Purity, total lockdown of seed-related sites. Every facility that had handled or observed the bomb was isolated, but it was too late. Baba Yaga didn't need access. The seed appeared again inside the main archive of the Imperial Citadel on Olister Prime. No breach, no record. It sat silently beneath the Council's insignia. On its casing was a new message. Final notice. Theories failed. Suppositions collapsed. What they faced was no longer within war doctrine or psychological analysis. It had become myth manifested. Deathworlders were already feared. Now they were revered in terror. At Station Gorex, a squad of elite mercenaries encountered her. Only one survived. The squad had laid traps, countermeasures, null fields. None worked. The survivor said she walked through them, dragging the bomb like it was weightless. Her eyes never blinked. Her voice didn't rise. "I remember," she said to each of them before they collapsed. The survivor's hands had aged 30 years. His hair turned white. Medical analysis failed. Neural pathways showed imprints of memories that weren't his. His last words before losing language comprehension were, "She gave me my death early." Commanders began resigning. Entire units defected. The very mention of the bomb initiated fear spirals. Propaganda collapsed. Control shattered. One intelligence officer tried to erase the seed from all records. The attempt triggered a system-wide cascade. The seed's image appeared on every terminal with a message in binary. Forget nothing. The Empire tried silence. They stopped all communication with the Outer Rim, hoping to contain her. But containment failed. Story spread faster than ships. Miners on the edge of the black recited her tales. Children aboard war frigates began playing games called Baba Waits. At the Imperial Academy, cadets found copies of a book that didn't exist. The Firewalker, Lessons in Debt. It described the Judgement Seed. It described every step Baba Yaga had taken. It described events not yet occurred. On the final page, she never leaves unpaid accounts. A research AI on Altari, 6 decrypted a pattern. The seed's appearances weren't random. They followed a shape, a spiral. Each drop point formed part of an old Earth symbol, a skull inside a flame. The AI calculated its conclusion. Its center would be the Galactic Council chamber. The spiral collapsed on itself. As it did, she moved faster. Entire weeks went dark across star lanes. Pirate factions began surrendering to human colonies unprovoked. One transmitted a message. "We saw her. We want mercy." The Empire deployed their last deep space interceptor, the Vindicator. It carried planet crackers, no void mines, antimatter lances. It never reached its destination. Found drifting near a brown dwarf, the hull peeled like fruit, every weapon offline. In the main control deck, the Judgement Seed sat in the captain's chair. Scans revealed something new. The bomb was no longer powered by antimatter. It pulsed with organic signals, neuronal energy. A living core. The Empire called impossible. Earth said nothing. A low-priority listening post captured a human transmission. No encryption. No urgency. A whisper. She's not vengeance. She's memory that walks. By the time the Empire understood, she had already entered their inner systems. No ship stopped her. No sensors tracked her. Where Baba Yaga passed, planets halted. Governments fell. An Imperial senator attempted a final plea. He sent a direct transmission to Earth. "We made a mistake. Help us stop her." Earth replied once. One sentence. "She's not ours to stop." Across the galaxy, the Judgement Seed appeared again. This time accompanied by a second figure. Tall, silent, also cloaked, dragging another device. Humanity had made more. Or she had. No one knew. No one dared ask. One by one, Empire-aligned species withdrew from the Council. One by one, they stopped trade. One by one, they erased their records of aggression toward Earth. And yet, she kept walking. In one intercepted message, a rogue Imperial agent documented her passage through a derelict shipyard. She walks like she owns the silence, like the void is her shadow. The seed hummed as she passed. It sang in frequencies audible only to machines. In response, battle AIs shut themselves down. Starships refused commands. Systems refused orders. In the inner sanctum of the Empire's intelligence branch, someone found a file called Return Protocol, YGA. No one had written it. No one could delete it. Its only contents: a map, a countdown, and a phrase, "She has one delivery left." When the Galactic Council finally acknowledged it, the countdown had 7 hours remaining. No one slept. No one moved. Delegates resigned mid-meeting. The Empire's leader requested full planetary shields. It didn't matter. A merchant vessel in a nearby system reported seeing a black-shaped cross in front of a red sun. No propulsion, just motion. Constant, inevitably forward. One child aboard the vessel looked into the distance and said, without prompting, "She's bringing it home." The Council issued a final decree. All discussion of Earth was forbidden. All involvement in Earth's affairs ended. Any mention of the Judgement Seed or Baba Yaga would result in expulsion. The decree was unanimous, but it was too late. The last message received before the countdown ended came from a derelict observation pod floating near the Citadel. "She's here." And then everything went silent. The chamber was sealed. Full planetary lockdown. No entrances. No corridors unguarded. Orbital defenses primed to atomize anything larger than a grain of sand. No unknown vessel had entered orbit. No abnormal gravimetric signatures. No quantum phase disruptions. Nothing. But the bomb was inside. The Judgement Seed sat at the center of the council chamber, humming with slow, rhythmic pulses. Its casing pristine. No breach. No explanation. Counselors froze. Guards raised weapons, then lowered them without order. Something deeper than training suppressed reaction. A figure stood beside the device. Human in shape, wrapped in black. No visible armor. Yet nothing about her appeared soft. White hair bound tight. Skin pale, unmarred. Eyes unreadable. She did not speak. She did not move. She waited. The Supreme Counselor stood and demanded her name. She turned her head slowly, blinked once, and replied, "You name me." Silence. An ambassador attempted to call security. The system failed. Every device in the room shut down. Even emergency lights dimmed. The bomb's pulse glowed softly, synchronized with her breath. One counselor asked, trembling, "What do you want?" Her voice came low, flat. What was sent is returned. They argued. They pled. They offered apologies, reparations, tribute. She listened, unmoved. They offered planets, technology, data archives, genetic samples. She remained silent. Finally, the Supreme Counselor asked what would stop her from activating the bomb. She looked down at it, then back at them. "Fear was your tool. Now it's your gift." One delegate asked, "Is this vengeance?" She shook her head. "Memory. You made it. You launched it. We didn't retaliate. We reminded." The seed's pulse accelerated. Each beat resonated through the floor. Several counselors backed away. She stepped forward. "Earth is a death world. You study that fact. What you didn't understand is we do not survive through strength. We endure through consequence. We do not forget." Someone accused her of bluffing, said the bomb was inert. She nodded. "It is. Today." Council guards formed a perimeter. They advanced. She raised one hand. The light snapped off. When they returned, every guard lay unconscious, uninjured, breathing, uniforms untouched. You rely on force. We rely on meaning. She circled the bomb once. Her steps made no sound. You built this as a message, a statement of dominance. You failed because Earth never needed permission to exist, and we do not yield to silence. The chamber fell into stillness again. I did not come to destroy. I came to deliver. This is what you gave us. The weight of your arrogance. The cost of your assumptions. It belongs to you. She turned away from the device. The council remained frozen. You won't hear from Earth again. Not because you frightened us. Because you taught us what you are. And we are done listening. The doors opened behind her, without mechanism. She walked toward them. No one moved to stop her. Just before crossing the threshold, she paused. Her voice echoed, sharper now. "We only made one of her. But ideas don't die. They walk. They grow. They remember. She disappeared. The bomb remained. It never detonated. It never left. Security protocols sealed it inside the council vault, surrounded by null fields, guarded by machines, buried beneath layers of isolation. No one touched it. No one studied it. The vault was eventually abandoned. Council protocols changed. Earth was blacklisted. No species was permitted to contact, observe, or discuss the system. All trade with Soul-Link humans was terminated. Galactic maps reissued without Earth's coordinates. Scholar records reclassified human history as a restricted archive. But fear lingered. The legend of Baba Yaga spread beyond imperial reach. Among pirate clans, she became a warning. Among refugees, a protector. Among soldiers, a myth never spoken aloud. Wherever ships vanished, where fear spread before violence, where old songs hummed from dead calms, her name followed. In a council chamber decades later, a young delegate asked what the phrase return protocol meant. The elder who heard it went pale, ordered the file sealed, and instructed the delegate to never speak it again. Human diplomats returned under different names, different faces. They made no mention of the past. They offered peace, trade, knowledge. They spoke with calm civility. But behind every smile, the memory lingered, because they never retrieved the bomb, because she never came back, because she didn't need to. One probe in deep void space captured a signal broadcasted from no known origin. It repeated only once every standard year. A woman's voice. Calm, clear, undistorted. Next time, we won't return it. The signal ends the same way every year, with a low pulse echo identical to the seed's core resonance. Galactic stability adjusted to a new doctrine. Leave Earth alone. Not because Earth demanded it, because Earth didn't have to. She had already walked through their power. She had already turned myth into consequence. And she had already shown what happens when the forgotten rise. The bomb never exploded, but everything else did. The galaxy changed after the bomb was returned. Not in law, not in policy, but in behavior. Government stopped speaking Earth's name in public. Educational texts redacted entries on Sol. Transit lanes rerouted to avoid Earth-aligned systems. The change wasn't mandated. It spread like instinct, like prey adjusting to a new predator. Ships passing near the old trade corridors kept their engines cold. Beacons went dark. Long-range sensors deactivated. No one dared risk proximity. The planet wasn't cloaked. It wasn't hidden. It was simply not there. To acknowledge it was to remember. To remember was to invite her back. Some called it superstition. Others called it survival. A century passed. New species joined the council. Old empires fractured. But every civilization, no matter how young, found the protocols buried in their inherited data. One line repeated across all systems. Earth is not to be approached. No further action to be taken. Status, observed. Memory risk, critical. When asked what it meant, instructors would say, only, that file is closed. No one opened the vault again. The Judgement Seed remained where she left it. Some said it decayed. Others said it pulsed louder each year. No one verified it. The guards posted were artificial. No living soul was allowed near. And still, messages leaked. A freighter drifting along forgotten lanes caught an old transmission. Faint, fractured. It repeated one sentence. What was sent is still returned. The crew erased the logs, filed no report, and destroyed the recording. They didn't want to remember. In the decades after the incident, a new philosophy spread among council worlds. A code of humility. War doctrine shifted. First strikes were reduced. Population purges halted. The dominant empires no longer acted without consideration. It wasn't mercy. It was fear. That fear had no face. No standing fleet. No ambassador. Only a legend of a woman who walked the stars with silence and a bomb she never needed to arm. And somewhere in deep archives, forbidden the most, a small team of analysts maintained a single watch list. It had one entry. Its name was not Earth. It was a designation. Dead Memory Protocol. The protocol remained untouched. But every galactic cycle, one analyst would confirm that no activity had emerged from Sol, that no signals, no vessels, no transmissions had been recorded. They never investigated further. The confirmation was always accepted without challenge. No one wanted to find her again, yet in dreams and ghost signals, her presence remained. Synthetic minds began referencing unknown variables when predicting interstellar conflict. In simulations, the mere hypothetical re-entry of the bomb altered all outcomes. Humanity had never retaliated. That fact disturbed more than any destruction could have. Their message hadn't been vengeance. It had been finality. Rumors emerged of hidden colonies seeded by Earth centuries ago. When these colonies surfaced, they were greeted with reverence and fear. Trade was generous. Disputes were avoided. The Council labeled them anomalies, then moved on. It was easier not to connect them. An academic on Corvallis published a thesis titled The Death of Warfare, Cultural Evolution Post-Memory Trauma. He was found catatonic days later, mumbling fragments in Old Earth Russian. He had never studied the language. A transmission leaked briefly from a forgotten relay on the galactic rim. It was brief. A woman's voice said, "Still watching." The relay was destroyed 5 minutes later by its own planetary defense grid. The AI controlling it offered no explanation before disintegrating itself. The incident was marked as solar interference. On a remote asteroid, a mining crew found human artifacts buried in strata older than their own history. Carbon dating failed. The tools bore symbols not seen since the ancient Earth era. They left the site untouched. The mine was sealed. No records filed. On pirate worlds, they began using her name as a curse. Baba Yaga meant inevitable consequence. It meant judgment that waited. No one claimed to believe the stories, but they repeated them anyway. In back alleys, in orbital taverns, in forgotten void stations, whispers persisted. She had returned the bomb. She had walked into the center of galactic power, without resistance. She had given it back. And she had smiled. A smile was what haunted them. Not the weapon, not the silence. The smile that promised she didn't need to destroy them, that they had already done that to themselves. A species rose to prominence in the southern sectors, eager and militarized. The Vashari. They challenged trade lanes, overran counter-protected planets, and mocked the protocols of restraint. When they learned of Earth's blacklisting, they laughed. They declared Sol unworthy of its myth. They sent scouts. The scouts did not return, not destroyed, not vaporized, simply gone. No trace, no record, no echo. The Vashari lost 4 vessels before withdrawing. They never filed formal complaint. They erased their logs. They erased their laughter. In their next summit, the Vashari ambassador signed 28 treaties of non-aggression. He spoke nothing of Earth, but when asked why he reversed course, he said, "We forgot the story. She reminded us." The reminder cost them nothing visible, but their voice never again rose above a whisper in council halls. On 1,000 cycles since the bomb's return, a forgotten probe in neutral space activated. It was old Terran design. Its fuel was depleted. Its data core half-rotted. It transmitted one phrase before going silent. "The fire is not out." It reached only one receiver, a deep core AI buried under council archives. The AI processed a message, updated one internal flag, and then sealed itself. No response. No alert. The update was minor. It changed one variable from asleep to aware. The council never knew. In the dark, across 100,000 worlds, nightmares returned. Not of death, but of being seen. Of being remembered. Of a knock on the door centuries after crime, delivered by someone who never raised her voice. Some said she was immortal. Others said she never existed, that Earth manufactured the myth. But none tested it again. None dared. In quiet corners of the galaxy, in the gaps between light, the question lingered. What would have happened if she had armed the bomb? And deeper still, what would happen if she returned and didn't bring it back next time? Humanity never rejoined the council, never reclaimed territory, never asked for tribute. But when their name appeared in whispers, decisions shifted, policies reversed. wars dissolved. Because one time, long ago, someone sent them a bomb, and Earth sent back a memory. Still ticking, still waiting, still theirs.